Hello friends, followers and channel members. So here we are in Nice again. Recently released as well is Just Sim's version of Nice. Sadly this is not it, but hopefully we shall be previewing that in an upcoming stream, as that's been recently released. So today we're heading from Nice to Rennes. I have no idea how you pronounce that. Maybe the Laurent. You're clearly from this neck of the woods and can teach us how to pronounce that correctly. But hi Nick, Captain Reese and Jean-Ray as well. Great to see you on board for this afternoon's flight, as I say, from Nice to Rennes. This is a real world flight. I think it departed a few hours ago. So yeah, call sign Alpine 685 Golf, and obviously if you're new to the channel and wondering what's going on, well, this is a real ops flight, so we do everything as realistic as possible. Buenos dias, HD. Good to see you. Don't throw Spanish into there. Although Spanish was the language of choice I did for my GCSEs years back. I don't remember that much of it. Anyway, right, HD. I've just got your message there with all the performance calculations and the Alpha Zulu Romeo VOR. Did you have to go onto an approach chart for that? I couldn't find it on any of the standard instrument departures, which seems a bit bizarre, but fair enough. Lawrence, your A320NX development version doesn't work with liveries anymore. Well, if you checked out my video, you'd know why. Basically, it's now a standalone aircraft. It doesn't use the default A320 in any shape, size or form, so any liveries designed for that no longer work with the A320NX. A converter is on its way out from FlyByWire. Stay tuned for more information. William Banton, good afternoon. Channel member William, good to see you, and Danny as well. Right, well, let's get inside, shall we, and see what's happening. I think the jetway is just coming along. There we go. There's the jetway. And we're still in our East delivery as well. Lovely East delivery created by channel member Christian. So, good stuff. Right, one of the first things that I want to do is... oh, that jetway seemed to get a bit close just then, didn't it? I thought it was going to smash straight into the flight deck. One of the first things I want to do before I get going, let's turn the fly plan on. I'm going to recalibrate these thrust levers, as it has been causing a bit of an issue on takeoff, trying to get the toga, the flex, and then the climb detent in there. So let's just go to settings and calibrate. So we can ignore reverse idle for now. However, let's go right to this top and start the this again. We need to make sure, so that is the start and that is the end. Oh, hang on, I'm still on reverse, so reset that. Let's just reset the lot. There we go. Toga. There we are. I've just realised I don't think you can see my mouse cursor. 1 second. And I always get this the wrong way around. Start and end is open to interpretation. I would say top and bottom would be a much better way of doing it. But anyway, let me just turn the cursor capture on. Now you can see. Right, okay. So the start is the top, presumably. So let's set that. The end is the bottom. And let's apply that. So the flex then, start there and end here, and apply. Captain B, good afternoon to you as well, sir. And then the climb detent can start there, end here. They're strange values. They're very strange values. And then idle can be starting there and ending just there. And apply. Okay, let's save those, and now what I'm going to do is a quick test before we power anything up. So that's in the idle gate. That should be the climb gate. It's not exactly lined, but it's close enough. It does get us in there. Get the flex, and then obviously toga. Okay, what I might do, I might make the climb gate just a little wider, so we can fall into that a little easier. So let's just go back to the climb gate. Let's set that, and set the end, and apply. There we go. HD, no, I think you're right there as well. Putting the reverse at the top is a tad confusing. Right, let's try that. So now we've got idle, climb gate. Still quite sensitive to get to that. Okay, well, we can hear the clicks as well. So the other thing as well is when you're flying, usually when you're going back into the climb gate, you're kind of looking in this direction here, outside the windshield, and obviously the instruments. So you're not looking down there, not looking down here at what's going off. So you want that to fall in quite neatly. Anyway, let's leave it as that, and we'll see how we get on. Good morning, Christian. Great to see you. That coffee cup's empty. I need a new one. Right, so I'm going to save that, and that's all done. Let's get the external power cart and the GPU coming. Let's get the batteries on. Batteries 1 and 2. I've got 27 volts on there. That's fine. And we can start getting the ideas aligned. So, there we go. Let's get the ground power, external power can now be turned on. There it is. Right, let's have a look at our electronic flight bag for our fuel then. Well, first of all, let's have a look at the weather. So, in order to do that, I also need to pop in my username here. Wish this did get saved. I've not updated this aircraft now for a few days, so I don't know why it's not been saved. Spelling it correctly helps as well. There we go, Easyjetsimpilot, that's popped in. And dashboard, pull it in from SimBrief. There we go. We're obviously going to be delayed. 1300 Zulu, it is now 1250 Zulu, so right, okay, what have we got? We have got winds 1506, so that's a slight little crosswind on takeoff, nothing too severe, nothing like we had yesterday. Fuel clouds 3,300 feet, QNH is 1000, so that's alright. No significant changes. And then what have we got in Rennes then? Let's see. So 330 at 12 knots. I think it's something like runway 29 that we'll be landing on. So that's all right. 1022 is the current QNH there. Let's have a look. Ceiling and visibility okay. However, temporarily we've got a few gusts coming in, so it is getting quite windy. So we want to get out of here as soon as we can. Try and get in before those winds. Danny, it's snowing in the Netherlands like never before on the 6th of April. Ah, dear. Right, so let's have a look at that dispatch operational flight plan. We'll get the refueling going. William, we don't have ATC, I'm afraid. There's no air traffic control around, so we'll just go on to Unicom as we set up. So we've got about 6.5 tons, 6448. We'll get that loaded in. So 6448. There we go. And oh, it did it instantly. Oh, that's slightly unrealistic, but never mind. We could always add a bit of. Do you know what? Let's add. Should we add half a ton? Just because of that weather. Although HD's given me the performance calculations based on this weight, so I could probably leave that. To be fair, I think we'll probably be all right. It's only temporarily gusting at the other end. So there we go, 6.5 ton, instantly loaded. That's fine. That means I can continue with the. We'll get the seatbelt signs on, get those nav lights on as well. and get the no smoking signs on, well, on the emergency lights, and get those fuel tanks turned on. Now the fuel's being loaded instantly. HD, do you want to redo that? I don't mind adding an extra half ton, particularly with the weather that is predicted in Rennes. Yeah, I saw that, restricted on the landing weight. That was interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go for it. Should we go for 7 tons? That'd be alright, wouldn't it? And I'm going to set that to real time as well. Let's load in 7 tons. So that's only going to take an extra minute to redo. Just before we load that in, then let's just turn those back off. There we go. Right, so that's now reloading in. That's fine. So overhead panel, with the exception obviously of the fuel pumps, is now complete. Let's have a look at the center switches. Let's get on the standby, and 1000 is our current QNH here in Nice. Jake, the coffee cup was made for me. I think, was it Nick? Was that your artwork? The coffee cup. We've not got a brake temperature warning this afternoon, so that's quite nice as well. No brake fans needed. Anti-skid is on. Clock is correct. Let's come down to the pedestal. Everything's looking as it should do just here. All the levers are in the correct place. Good stuff. Okay, let's just have a look at the radio panel. Guard frequency 121.5. There we go. VHF1 will not tune to it yet, but it will be 122.8 for Unicom. HD, I think Danny was asking if they would just round it up in real life instead of being exact with the figures. Okay, so pedestal sorted. Let's come up to the glare shield. Turn this on, and QNH 1000 flight directors. I need to turn these little tips off as well. I know what the button's going to do. And climb clearance is flight level 120. Let's turn those ECAMs up. And we should probably start getting some passengers on board now, shouldn't we? So let's tell the flight crew it's time to let them on. So the jetway is connected, the doors are open, and of course we can also now hear on the flypad, get the catering truck and get the baggage loaded as well. Ooh, they look like dark clouds over there, don't they? They're the clouds we're going to be heading into as well as we take off, circle around and then head north. There we go. I do like to see the visualization of things like that. It's really neat. Okay, so main instrument panels, turn those up, turn the first officers down. There we go. Right, IRS alignment will be in 1 minute. Let's come down to the McDo and pull in the information from SimBrief. So, to the Atsu, clear the scratch pad, init press, data request, there we go, Nice to Rennes, estimated fuel on board at the moment is 7 tons, which is what we asked for, so that's good. Estimated time is about 1 hour 42 minutes en route. Let's have a look then at the performance weights and balance page. We can ignore the fuel, that's now done on the EFB. So let's have a look at the passengers then. So a payload today, 161 passengers and about 16,744 tons. Let's have a look. Cross-reference that with the OFP. 16744 tons, zero fuel weight as 57.7. 57.7, that's correct. Zero fuel weight of the aircraft in the sim is 26.9, so we just need to update that. There we go. Let's load those in. Okay, so we've now got a gross weight of 64.7 tons, which will be about half a ton heavier. So our takeoff weight 63, no, it's about 64 tons, and we're currently, what did I say we were sat at? 64.7. Yeah, so a couple hundred kilograms burned off in the taxi. That takes us 64.5, which then matches up with the extra half a ton of fuel that we've just loaded. Okay, nice. Kittle PG 1 hour 42 for that distance seems a bit long. You have to remember, of course, you're not flying as the crow flies. There's some terrain in the way, so we do have to circle around. It's definitely not a direct routing. So we come to the aircraft status as the IRS line now 3 nav green, and aircraft status A320neo, LEAP engines, valid AIRAC cycle. And yeah, HD, I did spot the headwind whilst I was doing the flight plan. 79 knot headwind. That's also going to slow us down as well. So everything's okay and valid with the aircraft. Let's come then to the init A. This is where we upload the route. There's a flight number and alternate. So let's work our way through. The alternate today is Orly, Liam Fox Papa Oscar. We're basically flying directly against the jet stream today. And the flight number is Easyjet Europe 685 Golf. Cost index of 8, flight level 380 minus 52, so we'll update that to minus 58. There we are, and the tropopause is showing 37469. 37469. Okay, init A page is now complete. Let's jump to the flight plan. So, flight plan today, in fact that's something I've not given you guys, isn't it? Hang on one second. Let's have a look. And I can give you this. So, for those of you that want a copy of the flight plan as well, I don't actually use this in SimBrief now once it's made. Now it's available on the flypad. I can just keep zipping over to that, which is really neat. But for those of you that do want a copy of that, there you go. Right, so it is the Buru 6 Alpha departure from runway 04 right. So let's pop that in. Departure runway 04 right. And Buru 6 Alpha, there we go. And then our arrival into Rennes, there's no star actually, but it is ILS runway 28. And no star. The DIN 3 Alpha arrives from the north of the airport. We're obviously arriving from the south where there isn't one, so it will be no star. Now the Vfr Enoki, let's have a look. There is a waypoint which we need to pop in there, and it is Vfr Enoki, so that's correct. That's the initial approach fix. So let's insert that. There we go. So a distance of 469. And what's our flight plan tell us? 469. Oh, there's about 80 miles difference there. So, not sure what's going on. We're going to check the route anyway. Let's have a look at that and compare that with our navigation display. So, if we just move on to the plan mode, zoom out a little bit. So there's our departure. That's looking as I would expect it to do. We basically have to take off, make a right turn, otherwise we smash straight into some we smash into the terrain. We come out over the Mediterranean and back out, giving us time to climb all the while as we then have the Alps in the way. So, are they the Alps that low down? I can't remember. But there's certainly high terrain. I think it is the Alps. So that's why I have to make that circle. And then if we just scroll up through there, let's see what our arrival looks like into Rennes. That actually is spot on because there's a 50-mile DME arc into Rennes, which is there. Spot on. And then there's the ILS. So that is actually coded quite nice. I'm not sure why there's too much difference in the distance there, 469 to 547. A little bit strange. Don't know, HD. Can you come up with any reasons as to why that is? Because that looks really nice to me. Okay, happy with the flight plan. Let's come down then and have a look at the RadNav page. So we come down here, what do we need to put in the RadNav page? Do we need anything? Right, so first of all, I'm going to put the Nice non-directional beacon in, which is NC. I'm going to pop that in there. That might take a while actually. There's probably 1,000 different, maybe not 1,000, but plenty of them, all just with the identifier NC, but it's that one, 5 miles away. There we go. And then in case we have an engine out on departure, we need to pop in the VOR, which is actually on the airfield, which is Alpha Zulu Romeo. Big thanks to HD for pointing that one out, because I could not find that on the charts. Alpha Zulu Romeo. Strangely enough, I can only find it on the arrival charts. That's not much good if I'm departing. Check that frequency, 109.65. That is correct. Okay, so that's what we need for our departure. Happy with that. The other thing we need as well is the Nice VOR as well, which strangely enough, actually, do you know what? I'm just going to swap those over. Alpha Zulu Romeo, because I'll only need the Alpha Zulu Romeo if I have an issue on departure, which obviously I hope we will not. But I'm going to put the Nice VOR in as well, as we do need that if we need some raw data regarding our departure. So November India Zulu, let's pop that in. There we go. And whilst that's done, let's also flick those switches and get that on. So we want the VOR and the what did I put in? Oh, that's it. Yeah, no, that's right. I want ADF on that side. Good. Right, so RadNav page is all sorted. Let's carry on. Init B page then. So fuel. Fuel. 0 fuel weight. Zero fuel weight is, where's it gone? Wrong way. 57.7. 57.7, and it's 29.6, isn't it? 20. Sorry, wrong way around. 26.9. Always worth double checking. 26.9. And that trip wind, what was it? Headwind of 79. Ouch. There we go. HD, I'll put the Alpha Zulu Romeo VOR on the ND in a second then. Let's have a look at fuel planning. So we've loaded 7 tons. Let's see what the aircraft suggests. The aircraft suggests 4.6 tons, which seems rather low. So we've got 7 tons. That's all loaded in now, so we'll get the APU running, get those fuel pumps back on as well. Right, so HD, there's our takeoff calculations. Our takeoff weight is 646, landing weight estimated to be 61.2, and the alternate fuel is 1.3. Which is 37 minutes. Almost spot on. Let's have a look now at the at that flight. So 1 hour 10 minutes. Still showing on our flight plan. So HD, look, we're going to go to the takeoff performance page then now and have a look. What have you got for me? Let's see. Do we need to redo those, HD? I'll just key some other stuff in now. So what was our takeoff weight? Our takeoff weight was 64.6, and originally we worked at 64, so we've got an extra 600 kilograms on there. Thanks HD, already done. Okay, performance. So config 1, flex is 69, and our speeds are 135, 139 and 140. Transition altitude here is 5,000 feet. And thrust reduction acceleration 1010, yeah, 1010 feet, that's spot on. Okay, all looks good. Now, when we're clean, just checking that as well, our slight retraction is 193. After departure, we do have a speed restriction of 210 knots, which isn't too far away from the airport, so I will probably just fly config 1 till we pass Mike November 044, for those of you that have got the Navigraph charts for the departure. So after takeoff, it's probably easy to show you on here actually. Let's just grab the VFR map and zoom in. So after departure, we take off. Ignore that little moving over to the left thing, that's rather bizarre. So we basically do a straight out departure. As soon as we pass 420 feet, we can begin a right hand turn to avoid this terrain around here. We've then got a waypoint, Mike November 044, just here. That's our speed restriction of 210 knots. It's not going to bother us as long as the flaps are still out. So that's fine. And then off we go. We'll clean up and continue climbing above the Alps. HD engine out can also be 1010 as well. Let's pop that in. There we go. Alright, how are our passengers doing? Are they all on board just yet? I believe they are. Wonderful. Refueling is now complete as well. Is that Mike November 044 in the database? Yes, there is, Mike November 044. Okay, so now that's all sorted. Let's go into manage mode. And fuel pumps can come on. APU can be started as well. Give that 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Once the APU is running, then we'll disconnect ground power. So, quick departure briefing then. We've obviously done the... we've obviously just spoken about our departure. HD, would we need to pre-select the S speed? Because, what was our performance? So we'd retract the slats. That minimum would be 193, wouldn't it? If we do go above that, we can pre-select that to 210. There we go. I didn't know if we just held that, then if we just held the slats out until passing Mike November 44, we'd stay below that anyway. 210 knots. Alright, good. HD, I've got a question for you. I actually meant to ask you this yesterday. So our initial it actually won't matter today. Our stop climb flight level 120. However, if our stop climb was something like 3,000 feet, you know, something nice and low, then if that happened, obviously with the FMAs showing correct data now, so we now stay in thrust climb all the way up. Once we get to around 250 knots, Sorry, no, once we start approaching 3,000 feet, the moment we start to level off, the aircraft continues to accelerate at the moment and will bust the 250 knot speed limit. I'm presuming that wouldn't happen. The aircraft should target speed automatically with 250 knots. So, yeah, your thoughts on that, very welcome. As I say, it won't happen here because we're cleared up to flight level 120, so we won't be levelling off any time soon. Right, APU should be running as well. Is that now available? Yes, it is. Let's get some APU bleed on there. Let's disconnect the external power. And external power can now disappear. Main doors can be closed and the jetway can also go as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board our Easyjet service. Please place your large bags into the overhead locker, wheels first, and keep your small items under the seat in front of you. These include laptops, handbags, duty-free and loose items of clothing. Once you have safely stowed your cabin bag, please take your seat. To help us ensure a prompt departure, we would kindly ask that you keep the aisle clear, enabling all remaining customers to board. Your seatbelt can now be fastened ready for departure. This is a no smoking service. Thank you for observing this policy.
That's great, thank you.
Okay, so before we start, checklist to the line. So cockpit preparation, double checking up here, everything is nice now and complete. Signs are on and auto. Our ideas are already aligned. We've checked 3 nav green. Fuel quantity is loaded. We had 7 tons. Check that's balanced, which it is. Flight management guidance systems all set up. Altimeter 1000. Let's just check nothing's changed whilst we've been on the ground doing the prep. 1000 is still valid. So that's good. Let's well, we would normally get our ATC Departure Clearance now, but I'm just double checking there isn't any air traffic control online. No, we're still on our own. So what I'm going to do is we'll just move over to Unicom now. There we are. HD, you think would be better? Well, that is a max speed, isn't it? 210. So you change it to 193, which is the S speed, isn't it? We can do that. So there we are. That's sorted for you. Okay. So we're happy with that. The weather then, so let's just double check our weather here. A little bit of a crosswind on takeoff. Wind shall be from the right, so watch the nose pointing to the right as we roll down the runway. It's only 7 knots, so we shouldn't see that. Shouldn't see that affecting us too much. Our takeoff weight is below the maximum landing weight, so if we did have a problem, I'm quite happy to come back and turn here. We know if we have a problem with the engine out procedure, we need to make that right hand turn at 1 mile distance from the Alpha Zulu Romeo, was it? VOR? In fact, that's a good point. Yeah, the Alpha Zulu Romeo VOR. Let's flick that on. There we go. Hopefully there shouldn't be a problem though. No engine outs on this. Aircraft. The only issue that we've got is we know the aircraft can't perform our nav approaches at the moment. No times to be aware of. Nothing here in Nice. Runway 04 left is closed. That doesn't affect us, and we're not going to be taxiing across it so much. And I believe runway taxiway Juliet in Rennes is closed as well. So we'll have a look at the ground charts and see how that's going to affect us once we're airborne. Other threats to be aware of. Transition altitude is 5,000 feet. Our initial stop altitude is actually a flight level, so we need to make sure we go standard during the climb. Minimum safe altitude as we take off is 3,000 feet. Minimum safe altitude to the north of the airfield once we're in the climb is 10,700 feet. And for those first few minutes of the flight, we're going to be over the Alps, so lots of high terrain below us. If we have a pressure problem, then we'll have to get down paying attention to the terrain beneath us. Thrust reduction acceleration is about 1,000 feet, and other than that I think we're good to go. So we're on Unicom. We'll tell people what we're going to do. We're at stand, I think we're at stand 44 here. We're going to push back facing south. So let's make that Unicom call. Nice traffic, Alpine 685 Golf, stand 44, pushing back facing south.
Each traffic, speed of 464, stand 12 Alpha, tracking start, facing east.
Okay, it all looks good in there. Let's set that transponder. Oh, I don't know why it does that sometimes. It's already on. Let's make sure that's set to auto. Shouldn't be on just yet. And the before start checklist then, below the line. Our windows and doors are closed and armed. Rotating beacon light is on. Mobile phone off. Parking brake is on. We'll lock the flight deck door. And just before we go, let's get the aircraft centre of gravity, which is very close to the empty. Wasn't yesterday actually, HD. I know you said it's very rare that they are the same. So yesterday it was very different. There we go, 26.9 again. All right, let's push back and get those engines started.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. My name is Gavin, and I would like to welcome you on board this Easyjet aircraft. We expect a good flight with you today with no weather problems showing in front of us, so we should be pushing back within the next few minutes or so. For now, the ground crew have now finished loading the last of the baggage into the aircraft, so if you could get yourself seated and secured, then we can make sure we can depart on time. The cabin crew will shortly be providing their safety demonstration video, so it would be appreciated if you could give them your full attention. A special welcome on board to our Easyjetsimpilot members, and if you wish to inquire about becoming a member, please contact a member of the cabin crew. All our Easyjetsimpilot members are of course entitled to free drinks throughout the flight. Thanks very much, and we'll give you an update once we are airborne.
Traffic east, heading over 224, pushing back and starting, and 18A, facing east.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask for your attention while we take you through the safety procedures on this aircraft. A safety card is in your seat pocket showing the exit routes, oxygen masks, life jackets and brace position that you must adopt if you hear brace, brace. There are 2 emergency exits at the rear, 4 in the middle, and 2 at the front of the cabin. Floor lighting will guide you to an exit. Please be aware that your nearest exit may be behind you. In an emergency, leave all cabin baggage on board. Your seatbelt is fastened, adjusted, and released as shown. It must be fastened when the seatbelt signs are on, and we recommend that you keep it fastened at all times. If the air supply fails, masks will drop from above you. Pull a mask towards you to start the oxygen. Put the mask over your nose and mouth. Hold in place with the strap. Pull on each side to adjust. Put on your own mask before helping others. If we land on water, take the life jacket from under your seat. Put it over your head. Pass the tapes around your waist. Click together and pull the strap to adjust. Do not inflate it inside the aircraft. When outside, inflate by pulling the toggle. If it fails to inflate or needs topping,
Nice traffic, runway 04 left the wicket.
we also carry flotation aids for children. Your tray table must now be stowed, armrest down, window blinds open and seatbelt fastened. We wish you a pleasant flight with Easyjet.
What I've just spotted, which is rather interesting whilst that's been taking place, is we seem to have gained fuel during the pushback. It's like the tug driver just gave us a spare bit of petroleum. Not that much, not that that is much good. Yeah, we had just under 7 tons with the APU running, and now we've got 7,040 kilograms. Pushback's complete, and both engines are stabilised. So let's just clean this up. APU bleed off, anti-ice not required. APU masters are on. Ground spoilers, rudders, flaps 1, and at trim wheel. What was it? 26.9. So pretty much bang on, isn't it? We can just leave that. So that's fine, and we're now cleared to disconnect. So say thank you and goodbye to our tug driver. He's done not a bad job there. I've seen much worse. Picatkick67 on Twitch. Thank you for the follow, mate. And we're just heading straight for that ship at the end of the taxiway, just there. Right, so whilst we're now sat, let's do our after start checklist. So anti-ice is off. Check that ecom status. All is good. Pitch trim is 26.9 and rudder trim we've set 0. Flight control check. We'll do that while we're stationary. So full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral rudder, full right, rudder full left, and neutral. Okay, let's announce our taxi on Unicom. Nice traffic, Alpine 685 Golf is taxiing now via Charlie Uniform Alpha to holding point Alpha 3 for runway 04 right. So there's our taxi clearance. Pushback tug has disappeared. Let's get that taxi light on.
Traffic, 464 is taxi via Foxtrot Uniform, and then we'll do Alpha for Alpha 3 for 04 right.
Okay, and let's start to move. I think that's Nick I can hear, isn't it? That's taxiing with us. Oscar, this is the experimental version. Sorry guys, I don't really get a chance to look at the chat too much whilst doing the setup. There's obviously lots to do. Right, so just checking where we're going here, because I think it's not this first taxiway. I think I'm going to cheat actually. No, it's the second taxiway. That's fine. It's the second taxiway. And another car is about to be disemboweled into the engine. Oh, of course, Nice approach has just come online and now they're going to wreck everything. Okay, let's just hold there and contact Nice approach. 13235. No, it isn't. It's 13447. 13447. Hate it when this happens. 13447. Double check that frequency. 134475. Good. Nice approach. Good afternoon. Alpine 685 Golf. Just began our taxi now via Charlie Uniform Alpha to Alpha 3. Holding point for runway 04 right for departure via the Bodru 6 Alpha.
Alpine 685 Golf Eastbound, good afternoon, runway 22 left in service, report ready to copy again.
Oh, absolute nightmare.
Good afternoon, Nice approach, Vfr 464 with you. We're just currently taxiing to 4 right.
Vfr 464 Eastbound, good afternoon, runway 22 left in service, report ready to copy again.
Roger that. Okay, we're going to stop here. We'll have to reprogram then. We'll call clearance.
Roger.
Yeah, HD, they've changed the runway. Let's see what they give us. If it's an absolute pain, I may just disconnect. So, Alpine 685 Golf is ready to copy.
165 Golf, clear to destination, Bordeaux 66, Bay Departure, runway 22 left. Flight level 130, score contact.
Cleared now via runway 22 left, the Bordeaux 6 X-ray departure, flight level 130 for runway 22 left, Alpine 685 Golf, and we're just going to need 5 minutes here to reprogram.
Roger, Alpine 685 Golf, feedback car, QNH 1000, ready to taxi.
Roger, will go. Thank you, 685 Golf. Alright, okay. 2 left, and it's now the Bordeaux 6 X-ray.
Vfr 464, clear to destination, Bordeaux 6 X-ray, departure runway 22 left. Initial flight level 130, score contact.
Okay, right, HD, any chance of checking that takeoff data for us?
X-ray, initial climb of 13, flight level 130, and we'll score 1000. Speed about 464.
Vfr 464, feedback car, QNH 1000.
Do you know what, I might play the flight sim card. Alpine 685 Golf, is it possible, due to we're in flight sim 2020, so it's not that straightforward, is it possible with the calm winds to take 04 right as planned?
Yeah, but there's some wind. Is that okay for you?
That's fine. That's fine. The aircraft's more than capable. Alpine 685 Golf.
Alpine 685 Golf, clear destination, Bordeaux 6 Alpha, departure runway 04.
Back to the Bordeaux 6 Alpha 64 right, Alpine 685 Golf. Many thanks. And as we were. So takeoff data is now all current and correct again. I was very close to just disconnecting from VATSIM and then reconnecting again after takeoff. Confirm takeoff data. There we go. Alpine 685 Golf, we're ready to continue taxi now, expecting Charlie Uniform Alpha to holding point Alpha 3 for runway 04 right.
Alpine 685 Golf, taxi straight ahead, Charlie 2, runway 4 channel 1.
Charlie 1, Charlie 2. Continue taxi straight ahead via Charlie 1 and Charlie 2, confirm, Alpine 685 Golf.
Call you back for crossing. Please, just confirm, please, Cook 1000.
And we'll squawk 1000 and we'll hold short at Charlie 1. Thank you.
Vfr 464, ready taxi.
Vfr 464, taxi via Foxtrot, left on uniform, holding point Golf 1.
Ooh, that ship's moved.
Taxi by Foxtrot uniform and hold Hotel 1, Vfr 464.
Okay, so we'll continue our taxi straight ahead here. We're holding Charlie 1 and it's Alpha 3 we want.
1685 Golf, cross runway 04 left, continue taxi Alpha 3.
Clear to cross 4 left and we'll continue taxi to holding point Alpha 3, Alpine 685 Golf.
Easy approach, Scandinavian 224 with flight plan to Rennes. Would prefer runway 04 right, 224.
Scandinavian 224, clear to destination, Baudru 6 Alpha, departure runway 04 right. Initial flight level 130, squawk 1.
Good as filed via Baudru 6 Alpha, initial flight level 130 and squawk 1000, 224.
Scandinavian 224, report correct, QNH 1000, report ready taxi.
So we're taking a right turn in a minute to taxi down, and I may have to
464, cross runway 04, cross runway 22.
may have to look out the window to see where Alpha 3 is.
Roger, we'll cross 22 right at Hotel 1, to holding point Hotel 3 to 22 left, to go 44.
So that's showing taxiway Bravo. We discovered yesterday the signs aren't always correct, so sometimes it's better to rely on your own visual cues. And there we go. That's Alpha 3 just here.
Scandinavian 224 taxi, right on Delta, uniform holding point Charlie 1.
Turn right on Delta, taxi uniform, and hold short Charlie 1.
Okay, so FMA takeoff data is 135 blue. Hang on.
Wind 15037, that's on 04 right, for takeoff.
Alpine 685 Golf, cleared for takeoff, runway 04 right. We're actually just going to be 2 minutes just to finish configuring, thank you. Okay, so FMA takeoff data 135 blue, 140 magenta, climb nav blue, 12,000 feet, armed 1 FD2 and flex temp of 69. Let's get the terrain on the radar as well, as we're obviously going to be flying into it as we depart. Reminder that once we take off above 420 feet, it's a right-hand turn. We've got that speed limit all coded in, so that's fine as well. We need to set standard pressure as we go. Performance now hasn't changed, thankfully. Engine out procedure. We need to begin that turn we need to begin that turn 1 mile from the Alpha Zulu Romeo, and then if we have a problem, we shall be returning here, although I will be requesting to return on this runway, not the other runway. Stop altitude is 12,000 feet confirmed, although that will be a flight level as well. So we're now cleared to line up. Let's just do our before takeoff checklist to the line. Flight controls checked. We've done the departure briefing. Flap setting config 1. FMA and takeoff data is confirmed. Transponder is set. ECAM memo takeoff. No blue. Electronic flight bag is stowed. Brake temperatures absolutely fine. We've already got the takeoff clearance. Let's get the strobe lights on. We'll turn the packs off as well, and TCAS and transponder. Okay, and so the cabin is secured for takeoff. Engine mode select is norm. TCAS TA RA tilt above, packs off, anti-ice off. Alpine 685 Golf is entering runway 04 right for takeoff.
Flight 685 Golf, 15037, that's runway 05 right for takeoff.
Confirmed, clear for takeoff. Thank you, Alpine 685 Golf. SimFly UK, the fly-by-wire mod is not yet in the marketplace. Only 40 minutes behind schedule. And with that headwind as well, what fun. Hope nobody had any important meetings. Okay, so rolling takeoff is permitted, and takeoff. Start the chrono, set 50% N1. And set takeoff thrust. For some reason it's gone to toga, but that's fine, I'm happy with that. Man toga SIS runway is not showing for some reason, which is a bit strange. V1 and rotate.
Positive red 0.
Now start that right hand turn.
Flying 785 Golf radar identified, continue climb flight level 170.
170 Alpine 685 Golf. Let's get that in the climb gate, shall we? We've set those up the wrong way around, that's why I'm still getting lever climb. I can alter that, but not at this particular moment in time. Let's get those packs on.
Scandinavian 224, cross runway 04 left, continue taxi to pathway runway 22 right, pressure cross runway 04 left,
And set flaps 0, ground spoilers disarmed.
04 right to Alpha 3, Scandinavian 224. Nice approche de Fox Golf du Papa Hotel, bonjour. Fox Papa Hotel, Nice approche, bonjour.
And we're just lifting that nose to maintain that speed through this turn.
Fox Papa Hotel, un DA62 au parking avec 2 personnes à bord, avec l'information Alpha pour un vol VFR à destination de Ajaccio en sortie Tango Sierra.
We're now through the turn, so we can lower the nose a little bit and start to continue accelerating out.
On affiche 7002, on rappelle pour mon lac, Papa Hotel.
Anti-ice is now clicking in. Let's pop that on. HD, yeah, that's a good point. That speed restriction wouldn't have been held as we changed the runway, didn't we? I'm going to manually, once I put the autopilot on, I'm going to manually go in and change the detent settings, get rid of that lever climb.
You are seated. Toilets are located at each end of the cabin. Remember that smoking is not permitted at any time.
Fox Papa Hotel, on est prêt pour le roulage.
Cigarettes.
Fox Papa Hotel, relève via uniforme, point d'arrêt Golfing. Excusez-moi, vous pouvez répéter, j'ai eu une interférence. Fox Papa Hotel, relève via uniforme, point d'attente Golfing.
He also cleared us to flight level 130 as well, didn't he? So let's change that, set standard pressure. Lights can come off, and we can also put autopilot 1 now on. Autopilot 1 engaged. Lauren, the probe window heat in reality shouldn't need to be on all the time. It's automatic. Oh, HD, actually, you're right. I have scribbled down Vital 170. He told us to continue our climb, didn't he? That's fine. Right, let me just go in, manually sort this out. Minus 0.02 and minus 2.4. So, gonna have to do this quickly. So we should now be in the climb gate, and has the lever climb stopped flashing? No, it's actually showing manual thrust. I don't want manual thrust at all.
Good afternoon, Nice approach, Air France 939, flight level 210, descending 12,000 feet.
Alt star, but still in manual thrust. That is a real pain, particularly as it's showing. Oh, there we go. It's capturing speed and alt lever climb is flashing. I'm gonna have a play with those.
Expecting RMP approach 22 right and descending flight level 160, Air France 939.
Let's see if we can continue our climb. Alpine 685 Golf, request continue the climb.
Yeah, I'm on Alpine 685 Golf, run over for Atc Unicom altitude.
Over to Unicom now, thank you. Alpine 685 Golf, bye bye. Oh, right. 380. And the optimum and maximum is 390, so that's fine as well. Okay. Christian, go to idle thrust, then back to the climb. We're going to have to do that quickly, aren't we? Okay, let's try it. So, idle thrust, and then back into the climb gate, and turn on the auto thrusters as well. No, I'm still showing manual thrust and lever climb. I'm not even getting maximum continuous thrust at the moment. I can't see because of the sun. Can we manually drag these into the climb gate? No, that's not making any difference either. Let's make that higher. Nope. Yeah, we pressed the apply button. Don't worry about self-loading cargo passengers screaming, by the way. I did know that this was going to be a very, very bumpy climb, given the winds that we've got. We've got about 87% HD, so climb thrust is looking accurate. The FMA is just not showing what I want to see. Let's get rid of the anti-ice as well, we don't need that. Roberto, I don't think it's going to be the FD that's affecting that. But the climb thrust is looking good. It's just not lining up with the detents either, which is a shame. If I go any higher, it actually puts me in manual thrust. It's just flashing at me all the time to set the climb detent. Let's just have a look. So this should be the gate for the climb detent. We've got 0.08 showing, and anywhere between 0.06 and 0.1 should get us in that climb gate. I think we'll leave those passenger signs on for the time being, shall we? Once we get up to cruise, what I might do is see if I can have another quick play. I don't want to mess with the aircraft whilst climbing, and not with the Alps below me. Anyway, with that in mind, we'll just need to keep monitoring it. Rusty C, how would the climb problem pan out in the real world? It depends, of course. You can control it manually anyway. I think some pilots actually prefer to do that, but I don't. I love auto thrust. HD's just confirmed what I've said. Yeah, disengage the auto thrust and fly manually. What turbulence is this? This is very heavy turbulence. The turbulence was that big then, it froze the aircraft in its tracks. What's this, 104 headwind? See that wing bouncing around all over the place as well, jolting us. Maybe we should have left the cabin crew in their seats. Oh, that's a great question, HD. Without auto thrust, what minimums are you using? Without auto thrust, you downgraded to Cat 1. Cat 2 and 3 not permitted. You'll tell me if I'm right in a second. I'm just going to have a look at self-loading cargo. 49% satisfied. That means the other 51% love turbulent rides. Oh, HD is now going to elaborate for us. I don't think turbulence has never knocked an aircraft out of the sky, has it? For those of you that haven't looked through the operational flight plan, let me just zoom in down here. And this is the reason for all the turbulence. There we go, look. We're literally hitting this jet stream head on as we're climbing. So, lots of turbulence. Whoa. I heard the stall warning click then. That doesn't happen very often, and that's a sound no pilot wants to hear. So we're back up to speed, we're continuing that climb now. Yes, HD says, if I didn't point that out, this dotted line which extends all the way across, well, France, looking at that. Basically, France is just experiencing a lot of turbulence. Up to flight level 310. Which we're now just starting to climb above. So I'm hoping once we get a little higher, we'll be above it. Let's see what happens as we get to our cruise alt. Triple Seven, you had the same this morning, autopilot discontinued. Do you mean disconnected? This doesn't look moderate to me, HD. I'd say that was quite heavy chopping places. Although it now starts to looking to be thinning out, which is nice, as that was predicted. I like it when the sim does what we've predicted. That fuel flow is not looking as accurate as it could be. Why has fuel flow for engine number 1 just rolled back to 0? Sorry, engine number 2 just rolled back to 0. It's come back up again now. That gave me a squeaky bum moment. You're not going to get a flame out, there's no precipitation. It would be very strange. Still bumpy. So we're passing flight level 340. I've still got the seatbelt signs on. I don't let the cabin crew out. They don't let the passengers out. They probably open the door and jump. HD, we've done engine relights in flight, no problem. Yeah, no problem at all. We could get down to 20,000 feet as well, with about 6,000 feet to spare. So we're about to pass Cottit. Minimum off-route altitude at the moment is about just under 14,000 feet. 3,000 feet more to go during the climb. Willie, good afternoon. Hope you like turbulence. That perhaps doesn't give you the best view of turbulence. Maybe a window seat will help. Seems to be smoothing out a little bit. A couple of bumps. Sam says far too orange. I don't say that. It's our special Easter livery. Yeah, well, we've got to show the orange tube for Willie, given how much he loves it. Just wait until you see the luminous livery that Christian's working on next. Fluorescent paint. I'm loving what looks to be like a little bit of mist and fog in the valley over there. That's quite neat. Does seem to be getting nicer now. You might get those drinks from the cabin crew after all. My vertical speed indicator does seem to be dancing rather than maintaining a nice steady pitch. Still, it's nice to have something a little different from the norm. Normally we have trouble-free, worry-free flights, which is what most viewers would call boring, but I quite like those. Jean, has Nick disappeared? He probably crashed with the turbulence. He may have just decided he wasn't doing the runway 22. He was just going to... because we were a bit stubborn on the ground at Nice. We'd basically done all the performance calculations, started our taxi out, and then the air traffic controller came online and asked us to change everything. Different runway, different departure, different calculations needed. So I said, no, I'll go with the runway that we've already planned. It wasn't that windy anyway. And whether you took off 22 or 04, you were still going to get a crosswind, just in a different direction, so might as well go with the one we knew. And I think Nick ended up waiting behind everyone that was doing similar to me. Nick, you're back. Did you disconnect from VATSIM just while you took off? I was contemplating it. My fuel flows just rolled back to 0 again in that right-hand engine. Don't know why it keeps doing that. I've not noticed that before. That is weird. HD, have you just been on Flight Radar 24 to check that? I can't see how runway 22 is ever preferential given the approach you've got to use. When the winds are from the south, in fact they were from the south, was it something like 140, 150, so yeah, runway 4 would be preferential anyway. Well, finally almost going to make it up to cruise altitude. Here comes 380. If it ever makes it there. Right, so we've got Mac Alt Star. And Alt Cruise. Good luck sticking within 50 feet of flight level 380 on today's flight. So Willie, can I talk about the changes with separating the flight model from the stock version? Yeah, so for anyone that isn't aware, the Fly-by-Wire mod, and that's what it was a mod, basically modified the default stock A320 that came shipped with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Every time you added the A320NX folder to your community folder, all you were doing was updating the systems of the stock A320 from Azobo. Well, now what Fly-by-Wire are doing is, because they've created their own custom autopilot and they're basically building an aircraft from the ground up around the original versions that they had, it's now become its own standalone aircraft, which means that whenever we get like a world update or a sim update which fixes things with the with Azobo's A320 and normally breaks the Fly-by-Wire mod, that shouldn't happen anymore, because this is going to be its own aircraft, just like the CRJ. For example, it's going to be available in the marketplace as well. It's already available to download now through Fly-by-Wire's own installer, available from the Fly-by-Wire website, but it will soon be in the marketplace, and it will be free. Just because it's in the marketplace doesn't mean it won't be free. Yeah, HD, you can tell that recording was a pre-record, right? Where do you put 169 sick bags that are full? Right, finally at the top of the climb, 28 minutes into the flight. What should it have been? Top of climb, 23 minutes. That's not too bad given the weather that we had. Aviator BM, you've bought the Deluxe, it's taking forever to install. Well, mine took 28 hours, so don't feel too bad, Aviator. Right, where are we? Ettrick, about 20 minutes. What are we? So a couple of minutes to Ettrick, so about 30 minutes into the flight. Let's check. 33 minutes. Actually, that's not too bad. Minimum fuel remaining 4.2 tons, and actually we've got, oh, mind you, we did take half a ton more, didn't we? So that's probably spot on. Actually, we've got an extra ton on board. In the rear toilet and lock it.
In just a few moments, we'll commence our in-flight service, offering you the chance to purchase from our selection of fresh food available today. All details can be found in your in-flight brochure. We accept payment in pounds, euros, most major currencies, and debit or credit cards. The correct change would be greatly appreciated, and if we can be of any further assistance, then just ask us as we join you in the cabin shortly.
So thankfully that turbulence does seem to have dropped off. Now we're at cruising altitude, it's not too bad. Eric Lou, climb, climb, climb. I can't climb any higher. I'm almost at the service ceiling. Oh, this is much better. This is nice and chilled now. Now, if only I could sort that thrust lever out. Dare I play with it now I'm in the cruise? That's the question. So, as we look at the settings on the EFB for setting these thrust detents, then we've obviously got, we can set the top of the, we can set the start of the detent, we can stop the end, select the end of the detent. Are we to presume that the start is the bottom of the detent or the top of the detent? Does start equal top or bottom? Answers in the chat, please. So I would imagine, as I say, for me, takeoff go around should be 1 and then 97. 1 is the start, right at the top. Start is surely the bottom. Well, that's interesting, because then that would mean that these are the wrong way around. Christian should make no difference. Well, that's what I thought. So Nick suggests the bottom. So in the climb detent, there's the bottom, 0.60. So that's set the right way, isn't it? World Wild Pilot, how do you... Oh, thank you very, very much for your kind donation. 199 donation there from World Wild Pilot. Very, very kind of you, sir. And World Wild Pilot's question, how do you download the new FlyByWire installer? You basically, if you've already got a FlyByWire installer version on your system, delete that, go to the FlyByWire website, not their GitHub site, go to their website and download their installer, and it is brand new. And as I say, thank you very, very much, sir, for your kind donation there. Right, so if we, do you know, let's try something then. If we go to idle, so HC suggests climb values are wrong, end should be higher than the start. Well, we can change that and see if it makes any difference. So if we set 0. Let's call it 0.05 and 0.09. We'll try that and apply. We can also click save. Let's come back over to the thrust levers and see what happens if we do that then. So what I'm going to do is idle. We'll go toga just to set the range. And now we've gone back to set Yeah, no, we've still got lever climb flashing. But auto thrust is still on, and it is still controlling Mac, Alt, Cruise and Nav. Worldwide, would I download the developer or the stable? Actually, I'd download the experimental. Personally, worldwide pilot, I'd definitely go with the experimental with the custom autopilot. I think that's great. Oliver, how do you get the fly-by-wire to work again? Every time you load into the sim, the plane's invisible. Wow, okay. In that case, what I would do is I would clear out everything in your community folder, just back it up, shove it somewhere else, and then using the installer from the fly-by-wire website, then I would download a brand new version with the brand new installer as well. So that's how I'd look to try and take care of that. Okay, I'm going to be very brave. I will turn the seatbelt signs off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has now turned off the seatbelt sign and you are now free to move around the cabin. We do recommend, however, when in your seat, that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times in case of unexpected turbulence. The toilets are now available. Please contact a member of the cabin crew if you require assistance. Thank you.
What we'll do, guys, when we're on the floor, the ground, when we're on the ground and parked up, we'll shut the engines down and we'll have a look at these thrust levers, see what happens. So, how long until descent? That's a good question. Let's have a look at our arrival. So, we want to be at flight level 70 at Enoki, which is, I've come down to the flight plan. So Enoki, we're about 52 minutes away from Enoki, so we'll probably start our descent. Normally it's around 80 miles away from, well, looking at this headwind, we could actually even leave it a little bit later. That headwind's going to slow us right down. Probably start the descent probably around 80, between 60 and 80 miles away from Enoki. Because what are we? We're at flight level 380, and yeah, normally I'd probably just, without that headwind, I might look at going about 100 miles away, but we can leave that a little bit later. Don, how do I know the top of descent? Well, of course, the other thing you've got now is if you don't want to work it out yourself, we've actually got the performance calculator. You've got a performance calculator there you can use. That's a nice slow ground speed, isn't it, with that headwind? And you've got the current altitude, so you can set your current altitude, which is flight level 380, and as I've just said, a target altitude we want to be 7,000 feet by Enoki, so if we pop that in, and instead of a 3-degree descent path, let's just clear that and say if we want to start our descent, let's call it 80 miles away, then we'll be descending at around about 2,200 feet per minute. Of course, as we start to descend, we can also slow our ground speed down. So if we want to start 100 miles away, then it's about 1,700 feet per minute. So if you want to use the performance calculator on there, that is really, really neat and nice. Jay Hogg, are we safe to update from the installer to the experimental, or do we still lose deliveries? You still lose deliveries, but there are instructions somewhere to convert them. At the moment, I just haven't, because FlyByWire are going to release a livery converter as part of their installer pretty soon. So I'm just waiting until then. Eves Morgan, can I recommend a good performance calculator for the Neo? Webro maths out speeds are way too high in your opinion. You've also got to remember, of course, that that is for the older engines, not the Neo engines, so that's why. Mark, that's a good shout. It's blinking because the throttle's reporting 0.3, which is outside of what you set. Well, that's interesting. If we go back to that then and set it, let's see what happens. So back to the climb gate, 03, and I've set it alright. So if we move that, so it's now within that gate. Might need to make that gate a bit bigger. So now we've got a current value. That's set exactly in. Oh, Mark, you're a genius. Look at that, guys. Big round of applause to Mark. Very well, so it's been having that problem. Right. Save. Well done, Mark. Thank you very, very much for that, my friend. Go and grab yourself a free drink from the galley. Tell you what I haven't done. I haven't switched over to Unicom. Let's listen for those animal noises above France, shall we? So Don, when you select this add-on plane, you can't change the livery, right? Well, no, you can change the livery. If you actually go to flightsim.to, there are now a whole host of liveries designed explicitly for the A320neo NX version from FlyByWire. User, correct, this is the experimental. Yeah, Christian, make the detent zones a little bit bigger. They were a bit small, weren't they? But Mark, that was a truly valuable piece of information, so thank you very much, sir, for that. I don't have to sit and look at that flashing warning now. I think we need to make those gates definitely bigger, just as Christian's just said. And Willie's going to use masking tape.
In just a few moments, we'll commence our in-flight service, offering you the chance to purchase a selection of hot beverages, together with drinks and snacks from the bar. We accept payment in pounds, euros, most major currencies, and debit or credit cards. The correct change would be greatly appreciated, and if we can be of any further assistance, then just ask us as we join you in the cabin shortly.
So Worldwide Pilot, you just downloaded the experimental version, and in your community folder just says the fly-by-wire. Yeah, so no longer in your community folder is it called the A320NX. It's called fly-by-wire something. So what's in a name? A rose by any other name is still a rose. Jan, how do you find the distance from a specific waypoint? Normally you add up the distances for each waypoint on the book do, but obviously that would take far too long. You are correct. There is a way to do it, but it's not yet implemented. I don't think it's been merged just yet, but it is coming because I tested it the other day. You would normally go to the progress page, the prog page, and then in here you would type in whichever waypoint you wanted. So where are we flying to? I forgot the ICAO code. Lima Fox Romeo November. So Lima Fox Romeo November. Normally what you do is then you type that in there, and then you would put it in. If you look on the right hand side, fourth line down, right hand side fourth key down, where it says 2 and the little blue box, you should be able to select that and pop that in here, and then it will give you a bearing and distance to it. Sadly that is not yet implemented, but it is coming, as I say, very soon. I've seen it, it works, it's great. You can even be really specific and ask for the distance to an actual runway threshold. So in this case, Lima Fox Romeo November, I would type in runway 28, Lima Fox Romeo November 28, and that would tell me the distance from the actual threshold, which is very, very useful for a whole host of reasons. So when that is available, that will be something you see me use a lot. Don, you missed the URL I mentioned. So, I actually don't know the URL. If you just Google something like FlyByWire, FlyByWire A320NX, it'll come up. No one asks, hello, where am I? You mean in the simulator? I'm over France, somewhere. In fact, fair shout, if anyone wants to have a quick look. We're there. That really doesn't help, does it? But that's our routing up to Rennes. I can leave that just there for you for the time being. Worldwide pilot, which information are you asking for? See if I can help you. Craig, in-flight announcements come from a add-on which is called self-loading cargo. Right, well, just whilst we're nicely sat in a cruise phase of the flight, I'm just going to disappear, go to the galley, and see if I can grab a snack. So, hopefully the aircraft will not be inverted when I return. I'll be back in 5 minutes or so. See you all soon. Hey guys, so back with you, and we're fully stocked. There's so much chocolate lying around this house at the moment following Easter. The 4 kids have been spoiled, but the girls are too young for lots of chocolate, so that's kind of neat, for us anyway. Right, well, looks like turbulence has disappeared. We're still flying the right way up. Everything looking good. HD, you've just been doing some flight planning. I missed that. Just going to have a look actually. So, remember guys that this is actually a real world flight as well. From, I think it was, this may have been yesterday actually looking at it. And it looks like the flight that the real world one did something similar in regards to the routing that we've taken, but I think they may have got a direct from air traffic control from almost where we are now up to maybe Usoda rather than going all the way around, as you can see on the Vfr map at the moment. That's the beauty of having air traffic control in mind. They can give you directs, save you some fueling money, which of course is neat. So, just to let you know as well, everyone, that a couple of little bits of news. You may not have noticed, as most of my audience is here on Facebook. Here on YouTube, but we've also now started streaming to the Facebook page, which is certainly in its infancy, just as another outlet. We've always streamed to Twitch as well for the Twitch viewers that are on there, but we're also on Facebook as well. So exactly the same name if you wanted to look on there, Easyjetsimpilot. So just another string to the bow, so to speak. So there we are. So if you're on Facebook, please do find us, share the stream. That'd be quite nice. I think we get nice little alerts as well if you share the stream or like it. That'd be quite neat. It'd be quite nice actually if anyone could find it and test it. I've no idea if it's working. I believe it is, but I have no idea. So maybe the channel members, if you're on Facebook, you can help me out. Just go on your Facebook account, search for the Easyjetsimpilot, and see if you can find it, and maybe give the stream a like. Let's see what happens. That'd be kind of neat if anyone wants to try that. The other news I've got for you as well is that we've just recently had communications with Aerosoft, and Aerosoft are now permitting us to basically showcase everything that they release for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. So anytime they have something that's out, we can preview it here. So that's really, really nice. So Nick, you found us on Facebook. That's great stuff. Found us and followed us. That must mean it's working then, Nick. That's lovely. Wonderful stuff. I'm glad that worked. Means I must have set something up right. Random guy, why doesn't your A320neo follow the flight plan? That could be a whole host of reasons. If you're on our Discord, then please do post screenshots of that. Hopefully we can help. HD, I love the way you refer to the older aircraft as old bangers. That's not the way to promote passenger safety and enthusiasm for the aircraft. Agent Smith, do I recommend self-loading cargo? I think it's great. It's simple, it works, and it's quite easily customizable as well. So I think that's definitely a plus point, isn't it? Anything that's customizable, it's really good.
Ladies and gentlemen, take full advantage of your tax-free allowances today and make some amazing savings with our boutique range. In your in-flight brochure, you'll find details of our award-winning selection of gifts, most with massive discounts, some of which are exclusive to you as an Easyjet customer. Make the most of your opportunity to shop and save from the comfort of your seat. If you'd like to see any products, have any questions, or would like to make great savings, then just ask us as we join you in the cabin shortly.
And John's following as well. So you should. I can say that because for those of you that don't know, John is my uncle. HD, some of your favourite aircraft were the older ones. They were simple, warm, and rarely went wrong. Warm? Do you mean in a atmospheric temperature kind of way, or just cosy? So I'm just starting to have a little look at our approach then into Rennes, and if we just have a look at the Vfr map, which is sometimes easy to explain if you're not familiar with Navigraph charts. So obviously this is us at the moment. As we make this track and start to head north, we want to be at Enoki, just here, at flight level 70. So flight level 70 by this point, and then we basically start this 15-mile DME arc away from the airport. As you can see, it sort of arcs around. You can see it's part of a circle really, 15 miles away from Rennes Airport. So this 15-mile DME arc, which looks to be coded quite nice. And then these are radials actually from the VOR, the airfield, so that's the radial 141, 128, 115, 101, and then with that we intercept the ILS, and we should intercept the ILS probably. It'll be, okay, if you can see this waypoint here, Gomda. Gomda is about 10 miles away. Actually, it's a little closer than that. It's 9.2 miles away from the airport. And at Gomda, we want to be at 2,000 feet. That's the platform altitude for our landing today. Missed approach altitude, also 2,000 feet. The missed approach is quite a strange one, this one. I've not seen one quite like this before. Basically, if we go missed, we climb straight ahead, then at 1,000 feet we make a left turn to come back to hold over the VOR, and then continuing our climb up to 4,000 feet, or as would be directed by air traffic control if air traffic control were online. At the moment they are not. So a nice straightforward arrival. Hopefully nothing should go wrong. It's a normal 3 degree glide slope, and our decision altitude is 321 feet, 321. Elevation is 121, so exactly 200 feet above the threshold. Colin Evans on Facebook as well. Thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, so nice that we can now also stream to Facebook as well, for those of you that like that. Pop that back up there. Put the GPS tracking back on and zoom out. So I'm going to head back into the flight deck, and we'll have a look and see what the weather is doing. And there you can see the sort of routing all the way around. Little dog leg. So it's about 120 miles away as the crow flies. We're actually, if we look down here, 157 miles to run. So we'll enter our destination data as well. Rocky Owen on Facebook as well. Thank you very much for following. I've just come back to the chat. So HD says the newer aircraft are freezing because they're so efficient at keeping all the equipment cool. The old ones not very efficient, but at least they kept your legs and feet warm. You need to wear tights. Christian says, can we start a donation marathon for a hot water bottle for HD? Something warm to sit on. Creamhole, have you got any donating restrictions on? I don't believe so. I'm just going to double check. No, I believe the monetization is on, so either the Super Chats, Super Stickers or the Streamlabs link is available. Thank you very much for asking. Garden Data asks, what's the meaning of life? To fly? Why not? Right, let's get this weather. Atsu, AOC and weather request. Now obviously that's going to come through, so I can print it out and put it next to the McDo so I can enter it in. However, if we come here, we can just see what those latest weathers are showing. So 340 at 14 knots, that's fine. Still temporarily gusting as well, up to 25 knots, so we could get some gusts. 1021 is the QNH. So slight crosswind there from the right as we come in. Let's print that weather off. Messages received, meta, and print. There we go. And Morton's also followed on Facebook. Thank you very much, sir. Right, let's put this information into the performance page. So, let's have a look. QNH is 1021. Temperature is +9. Forgot to mention as well, when I nipped out to go and get some food a minute ago, I went out and saw that while I've been in here it's been snowing. All the cars are covered. Wind 34014. And it's runway 28 we're landing on, so yeah, definitely some crosswind to look forward to. Transition altitude here is 5,000 feet. And our decision height, not decision height, sorry, our decision altitude, barrel reference, is 321. Key that incorrectly. There we go. And fully configured landing. And an approach speed of 127. So allegedly around 22 minutes to go. Just going to turn that off on the EFIS. How far away are we? We've still got a nice, good, strong headwind. So if we start that descent, we'll probably be about 80 miles away. Again, I can use the performance calculator if I so wish. Change that to 80. But I'm going to use open descent anyway, so we'll just keep an eye on that. Open descent seems to work quite well now that it holds the speed correctly. HD, estimated landing weight. Is, where are we getting this estimated landing weight from? Have I gone on the wrong page? HD, I'm having a brain freeze moment. Where's the estimated landing weight? We have it at the start, obviously. King, the specs will now be called up by the Nightbot. Thank you, Digital. Digital! I've just realised you're here. I don't know why I've not realised you've not been here. Oh, good to see you. I've not spoke to you in the stream for a while. Hope you're well. Estimated landing weight was on the operational flight plan. Where's that gone? I know you've already got that HD, but then we added half a ton of fuel to it. Landing weight was estimated to be about 60.2 tons. So I'd imagine 60.7. Add up the fuel on board at destination is 4.1, and the zero fuel weight is 57.7. Oh, fair enough. You have to do it manually. What? I don't like doing things manually. Yeah, fair enough. Zero fuel weight and the fuel on board. Fair enough. We're not too far now from our top of descent, so the exciting bit will soon start.
Ladies and gentlemen, from flight deck once again, you will be delighted to hear that we will shortly be starting our descent into our destination, at which point the cabin crew will start preparing for our arrival. If you could please make sure that all the aisles are clear and the cabin crew are able to make their way around the aircraft without any luggage in the aisles, that would be most appreciated. A reminder for our Easyjetsimpilot members that free drinks are still available from the cabin crew until the seatbelt signs are turned on. Please note, however, that the toilets will shortly go out of use. Thank you.
That's going to become quite important at HD, isn't it, once they get the landing performance and takeoff performance calculator on the EFB. Yeah, so estimated fuel on board, as you say, 3.3, zero fuel weight, 57.7, so 60 tons. So we've got the weather and landing information. Flight management computer is set. We confirm landing elevation is 121 feet. How long is this runway, actually? That's something I've not yet checked. Runway length for runway 28. No displaced threshold. So we have the full runway length available, which is 2,102 meters. So do you know what? I'm actually going to go with low auto brake there, just in case that crosswind causes an issue. It's above 2,000 meters. We shouldn't have a problem, but I am going to pop that on. So we'll go with a low brake. Minimum safe altitude around the airport is 2,000 feet as we're coming in, but then if we go missed approach to the west of the airfield, it is 2,500 feet. So nothing too much to worry about, just there with regards to terrain. So let's start to get down then, shall we? So we're going to select flight level 70, and we'll hold that speed as it is for now. So, thrust idle and descent. In fact, I want open descent. VNAV doesn't work, so open descent. Down we go. And Keith's followed on Facebook as well. Thank you very much, sir. Good to have you on there. So now we're just going to monitor that rate of descent as well. Make sure that we get down to 7,000 feet by Anoki. Nick, I've not added that. I've not added that yet. HD sent the performance figures. Let's have a look. There we go. Alright, so with the weather that we've got, wind 340 at 16, outside temperature 9, was there a 2-1, no anti-ice, runway conditions is dry, landing weight, etc. Config 1 for landing. Ian, thank you very much for the Facebook follow. Right, so let's edit that VAP speed a little bit then. I think our VAP speed was showing a little bit lower than that. Oh, why has all the estimated fuel figures just disappeared? That's a bit strange. Do they normally disappear when we start descent? So, actually that's not far off. It's got 130. Could change that. Match yours, 131. You can obviously edit that if you wish. Still looking at that wind. 88 knot headwind. It's not a direct headwind, of course, but Nick, have we got air traffic control? Oh, of course we have. 125.5. Well, I'll wait for them to call us, but let's pop it in. 125.5. And let's just set the QNH, which was 1021. HD, what's that fuel flow look like in our descent? It's showing there at 80 and 60 respectively. Oh, Christian, me and HD have been having some discussions regarding regarding the thrust reduction and acceleration altitudes at different airports. Why can't they just use noise abatement procedure 102? That fuel flow looks normal, HD. Great stuff. Nick, I'm not oiling the mouse. I like that authentic feel. It sounds like I'm actually turning bugs in the flight deck. Oh, I'm glad you can join us. You're definitely here at the right time, ready for our descent. That headwind now is keeping us quite nicely on profile looking at this. And I can check that profile if I really want to. What I've got about 40 miles to run, and if I go to our performance page and pop in there 40 miles to run. He probably actually does want to descend us a little quicker. What we're at, 1,800 feet. We can get on profile if we, in fact, use a little bit of speed brakes and just slow that speed down.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the flight deck, you may have noticed that we've just begun our final descent into our destination. If you could now assist the cabin crew by tidying up your tray table and handing them any litter as they come around, that would be most appreciated. For safety reasons, we ask now that you please turn off all electronic devices or switch them to airplane mode until after we have landed. Please note that the aircraft toilets are now out of use. If you wish to become a Easyjetsimpilot channel member, please contact a member of your cab crew who will be happy to assist you. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed your flight.
So I know we're down, and we actually want to be 220 knots during that DME, that 50-mile DME arc turn. So just need to remember that as well. Happy with the descent rate at the moment. Air traffic control has not yet contacted me, so I'm quite happy to continue doing what we're doing. That descent rate's sped up a little bit, so that's getting us back on profile quite nicely. Nick, or although I think Nick's flying, aren't you? So you may be a little bit, you may be a bit preoccupied. But anyone that does happen to have just seen the stream on Facebook, would anyone be so kind as to like the stream on Facebook? I just want to see if one of the alerts work. Be kind of neat if that did. Willie sips, so sensual. Yeah, it's normally how you refer to drinking a nice whiskey. So let's get those passenger seatbelt signs on as we look to pass flight level 210. We've just passed that. And approach checklist, minimums are set both sides. Engine mode select is normal. Electronic flight bag is stowed, and we've done the arrival briefing.
Gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. If you could please return to your seats and ensure that your seatbelt is securely fastened. If you are travelling with an infant, please ensure that they are secured safely using the infant seatbelt provided. The toilets will now go out of use until the fasten seatbelt sign is turned on. Please contact a member of the cabin crew if you require assistance. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. That works. Those that liked the stream on Facebook, wonderful. We've obviously set that up. We've obviously set that up well. I may have to move that alert box though if it's in the middle of the screen, because that's that could get quite annoying, particularly if someone decides to like the stream on landing. But thanks very much, guys. That's nice to know that that's working as planned. Thank you. So we're now 20 miles away. $20 miles away from Anoki, and everything's looking good. Just have a look what we do after we land, of course. So after we land, it's quite a small airport this. So after landing, we will be vacating on taxiway Delta, If we don't get... oh, there we go. 125.5. Let me just contact them. 125.5. Which centre is this actually? Breast control. Let's give them a call. Breast control. Good afternoon. Alpine 685 Golf is passing flight level 140470 direct Enoki.
Time 685 Golf, bonjour, descent flight level 70, expect vectors to ILS approach, runway 28.
Continue descent flight level 70 and expect vectors for the ILS runway 28, Alpine 685 Golf.
Breast control, Scandinavian 224 William. Scandinavian 224, bonjour, expect Oglot arrival, runway 28.
Expect outlet arrival, runway 28, 224.
Yeah, so it will be vacating left onto taxiway Delta most likely. If we go past that, as I say, it's a short runway, then we do have to backtrack. There is a turning pad at the end. There's also a grass runway and a grass apron here for smaller aircraft. We shall obviously not be using either of those. Hey Lewis, good to see you, my friend. So we're now 10 miles from Enoki. And we're about to pass flight level 90, which is fine. That's quite a nice descent profile. Okay, we're heading into the clouds. Let's get the de-ice on.
685 Golf turn the right, heading 020, descent 4,000 feet, QNH 1021.
Right, heading 020, descent 4,000 feet, QNH 1021, Alpine 685 Golf. Okay, so thrust idle, still in open descent, heading mode, and 4,000 feet blue. HD, is it 45 meters wide? Oh, we could turn twice. What was the cloud base here?
Bonjour, RTU 144 flight
Well, ceiling of visibility, okay, fair enough.
RTU 144, bonjour, squawk 5640.
5640, RTU 144.
Maxwell Easy 5, Charlie Whiskey, hello, flight level 360. Easy 59, Charlie Whiskey, bonjour.
Okay, during that descent I'm actually going to go back into managed mode. We can probably speed up a little bit. That's going to increase our descent rate. That'll take us to 250 knots, just to get us onto final a little bit more. And then in about 10 miles or so we can start slowing the aircraft back down. We're going to be hopefully flying level by then.
Charlie Whiskey, identified, direct Turku, Tango Echo Romeo, Kilo, Uniform. Direct Taku Easy 5, Charlie Whiskey. LTU 144, direct Athen, Alpha Tango Lima Echo November.
That's Atlas, LTU 144, and could we leave the cockpit for 5 minutes?
Cabin crew, about 15 minutes to landing.
LTU 144, no problem, report back.
Thank you.
Have you ever had a water cannon salute, HD? That's just made me make me ask. Seeing what as you put there. Ricky Owen on Facebook. Thank you, sir. Says great stream. And a couple more comments there on Facebook as well from Nick and others. Thanks, guys. So this is the first stream we've ever done on Facebook, and now we're at speed alt star, coming to 4,000 feet. That's looking good. Willie, HD can't retire until we've got him a PC.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be landing. Please ensure your cabin bag is safely stowed with your laptop inside. Your tray table must be stowed, armrest down, and window blind open. You now need to be seated with your seatbelt fastened, ready for landing. Please help us by handing in any rubbish, newspapers, or magazines that you do not want to take with you. The toilets are no longer in service.
Oh, what am I doing? That was a bad move. I meant to make sure we were into we were in managed speed, and instead I just popped the aircraft back into back into nav mode. Oh well, we're just giving Northwest France a little bit of a wing wave. Top to Gun, do I ever get crash the desktop loading some SIDS in Navigraph Beta? No, I don't, and that's purely because I don't have Navigraph Beta. I haven't dared take the plunge. I don't know, I'm a little cautious of it at the moment. That descent through the clouds has ruined my Easter paint livery. Look at that. So, shouldn't be far away until we're on the ILS. I expect a left turn in a moment. 21 miles away.
Alpine 685 Golf turn left heading 310, descent altitude 2,000 feet.
Left heading 310 down to altitude 2,000 feet. Alpine 685 Golf. So that's the platform altitude as well, 2,000 feet. And we're on that descent now. Rural France. I'm loving the view outside the windows here. Nice blue sky, fluffy white clouds. Can get rid of the de-ice now we're through that cloud layer.
Good afternoon, Easy61 Juliet Charlie with you, flight level 350. Sorry about the contact there.
Easy61 Juliet Charlie, no problem. Proceed direct. Corol, Kilo Oscar Romeo Uniform Lima.
And Alt Star. Okay, just waiting for clearance of that ILS as we're probably about to intercept that.
Easy61 Juliet Charlie.
We've not been cleared the ILS approach yet. There we go.
85 Golf, cleared ILS approach, runway 28.
Cleared ILS approach runway 28, Alpine 685 Golf. Okay, there we go, lock start.
Scandinavian 224, expect vectors to ILS approach runway 28, descent 4,000 feet, QNH 1021. Expect vectors 428, descend 4,000 feet and coordinate 1021, 224.
It's been a long, long time since I've been to France, but this actually looks like a nice area to live. Nice and rural.
144, copy, thank you.
Okay, so capturing the localizer now. 2,000 feet, flaps 1. Start configuring up. 12 miles out. The sun's in our eyes, of course. That should probably have been mentioned in the arrival brief. In the real world, that might make it a little bit more difficult to see the approaching lights. Lewis, is the flight going on in real life right now? I think it may have been yesterday, but it is a real live flight that did take place yesterday, yes. And glide slope blue, autopilot 2 engaged, Cat 3 dual. And the radio altimeter is alive, of course. 9.5 miles out. Should look to intercept the glide slope 2,000 feet at around 9.2 miles, so this should start to come active. That's interesting. Sorry, no. Forget that. 5.9 miles. 5.9 miles we should get the glide slope. And the runway in the airport is now coming into view. So, flaps 2, speed check. Flaps 2. There's the glide slope alive. And we should get glide slope capture in a moment. There we go. And now we can see that wind. So there's that crosswind that we were expecting. So it's going to drop off, but not very much.
Good afternoon, Brand Control, Speedbird 464 with
Glide
you.
slope.
We're currently at flight level 70.
5 miles,
correct.
landing gear down.
Speedbird 464.
Auto brakes are confirmed on. Auto brake low. It's got the lights on. Ding that cabin. Ground spoilers
Maintain flight level 70.
are armed. Flaps 3.
Runway 28. Speedbird 464.
Missed approach altitude set 2,000 feet. And flaps full.
Wind 320 degrees, 16 knots.
Clear to land runway 28, Alpine 685 Golf.
About 517 with you at flight 350.
Speedbird 517, bonjour, direct Loti.
1,000 feet.
Tango, Echo, Echo.
Direct Lottie, Speedbird 517.
KLM 1695, leaving my space, monitor Unicom 122.8, bye.
And just letting the autopilot control this crosswind just a little later than normal.
122.8.
That's a little bit bumpy as well, isn't it?
1695, have a nice evening.
Okay, autopilot 1 coming off, and 2, I have control. Cat 3 single.
Turn the right, heading 020, and that's all. Right, heading 224.
Fine, just concentrating on this landing now.
100 above.
STU 144, leaving my airspace, monitor uniform 122.8, bye-bye.
200. Minimum.
Continue.
100.
LTU 144, leaving my airspace, monitor Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
30.
30, you know what it is.
20. 10. 5.
2E69, press control, good evening, good afternoon.
Ground spoilers are out. Reverse thrust. Green.
Direct Athlon Alpha Tango Lima Echo November.
And reverse is off.
Direct up them, 2
Nice little hump in the runway there, isn't there? Okay, let's slow down and backtrack. There is a taxiway at the end of the runway, but it's closed.
Their seats to perform safety-related duties. However, we ask that you remain seated until the fasten seatbelt sign has been switched off.
I see that 2769, good
May
evening.
now be used. Please make sure that you take all.
What is your destination? I'm afraid your flight plan is...
Opening the lockers.
are you flying to Boston?
Smoking is now.
Hey, firm, sir, something is going on with this plane right now, but we're turning direct Golf Alpha Papa Lima, India.
For you today, our ground crew will help you complete your Easyjet journey. For the latest news, promotions, flight and destination information, check out our official Facebook page, Twitter or Easyjet app.
West Control DC5 on Charlie Whiskey, requesting 5 minutes out of the flight deck.
You can even check out our flight, our Facebook page now.
Approved to report back.
Wilco, EZ5 on Charlie Whiskey.
So speed up to 769, copied, continue asphalt.
We'll leave those strobe lights on for the moment whilst we're still on the runway.
Super, thank you.
And then this is taxiway Delta that we want to
Oh,
take.
and one more thing, is it showing me on course now?
So I was expecting air traffic control to contact us after we'd landed, but
Perfect, thank you, 769 Super.
we'll have a look at the replay as well, guys. You can judge your own landing rate. To be fair, with the crosswind landing, I'm not too worried about that.
224, turn left, heading 320, descent altitude 2,000 feet.
Speak to you later, HD. Enjoy IKEA.
224.
Looked like we flew over an IKEA building whilst we were on arrival. We'll have a look at that as well on the replay in a couple of minutes. Okay, let's contact them. Alpine 685 Golf has vacated runway 28 at Rennes.
Alpine 685 Golf, cockpit, continue taxi to gate of your choice.
Roger, we'll continue taxi to the gate of our choice, Alpine 685 Golf. So for those of you that have just watched the landing, don't disappear just yet. We're going to have a little look at the replay, which is always good fun. And I've never been here before. That was quite a nice little uphill runway, that. Not a custom or handcrafted airport, it's just the default from Azobo. So where shall we park? Doesn't really matter. I'm going to come off VATSIM in a moment and we're going to have a look then at the replay. Parking stands Bravo 1 through to Bravo 4 is available for helicopters. I don't think we qualify.
Brest controller, speed before 71, cruising flight number 340.
Of course, this all may look very different next week when we get the Benelux World Update. Is it World Update 4, this one?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're having some more problems with the direct to Atlant, so we'll just continue as filed.
Easyjet 69, copy, no problem.
Actually, it's one of these we want on the right, isn't it?
7 Yankee, climbing flight level 410, inbound Delta Victor Lima.
So, we're just going to have to make a right turn in a moment, and then we'll park up. Actually, should we head for the Marshaller? We'll head for the Marshaller.
Flight level 410, direct Alpha Mike Bravo, Tom J, 7 Yankee, thank you.
Kiri PG, thank you very much, sir, for that kind donation of yours. Kiri says, uphill or not, that looked a lot less than 308 feet per minute. Tell you what, let me just park up and we'll have a little look. What did self-loading cargo say? Well, self-loading cargo said 262 feet per minute, so I'll take that. As I say, crosswind landing.
Scandinavian 224 cleared ILS approach runway 28.
There we go.
Cleared ILS approach runway 28, 224.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to disconnect from, there we go, just disconnected from the VATSIM network, and then we can have a little look at the instant replay. So what I'm going to do as well now is we're going to just stop self-loading cargo because the passengers will scream. They didn't like that flight anyway because of all the turbulence that we got. So let's exit self-loading cargo. There we go. Let's load the flight. There it is. Get that loaded, and let's have a little look. So let me just hit. We just want the final approach. Oh, not that much. Here we go. This is the bit that I like. The nice wing views coming in on final. There we are. And yeah, I really like the look of the remoteness of this airport. Has anyone ever been here in real life? It looked really, really nice, the scenery coming out. Very well done. Lots of farmland. A little bit like flying over England, to be fair. We've not actually taken this aircraft, or I've not done any flying in the UK now for about 6 weeks because of the lockdown. As you know, we try and keep things real. But I am missing Manchester and Gatwick, Edinburgh. I think, Willie, you were on earlier saying the winds in Edinburgh the other day were ridiculous, so I didn't miss those at all. But this is looking really neat. Really nice. And again, I think you could quite easily fool people into believing that this was a real live flight looking at the scenery below. You may have to ignore the bright orange wind. that might tip them off that it's not quite as realistic as you'd think. But look at that again. You've got traffic going underneath bridges on default scenery. That never used to happen, did it? Digital, you're quite right. We are in replay.
Too low, terrain.
Oh, let's knock that off.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
There we go.
300.
Yeah, so we are in, there's like a little industrial estate there as well, a few warehouses. Kiri, you've only been there via the train, not via aircraft. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, you know what? That was probably one of the harder landings we've done, but that's okay. Again, short runway, crosswind. Don't want to be floating around too much. I'll take that. So, GoFlight 22 says, can you do a flight to Manchester to Iceland with the oceanic procedures tutorial? I think we've done that in the past, actually. Christian says, what do you mean it's not realistic? You've already sent the paint stream to Easyjet. Oh, well, don't mention us. They might sue us. Although, realistically, they should be paying us for advertising. Right, let's just stop that. Let's just rewind. Let's have a look coming in on the right-hand side, shall we? And I think I watch other people's streams as well, particularly when showing the scenery down below on arrivals. I can sit and look at this all day. Makes working much easier. So Rennes is the smallest city in France with a subway. Well, obviously I did not know that. My knowledge of French towns is or cities is very limited. I'm presuming then that's Rennes over there that we can see. There's obviously the city. Benny crashing planes on Twitch. Thank you very much, sir, for the follow. You're not going to find us crash too many planes, hopefully, on this channel. So, Christian, yeah, there you go. Right side view of the city now. There it is. I'm loving all the rural landscape around it. Maybe I need to retire in France. Is that even allowed now, thanks to Brexit? Really nice. But what was quite neat is if I just have a look, what was the elevation of the strangely enough, yeah, so the elevation at the threshold of runway 28, which is where we landed, was 121. The elevation of the threshold for the opposite runway, runway 10, is 77 feet. So that hump in the middle of the runway then obviously drops quite low down the other side. There's a train line. Lots of cars as well on the motorway, or whatever it is they call it. A flooded field just there. I'll tell you what, that looked a lot gentler on the right. If you were sat on the right-hand side of the aircraft, that landing looked much better. Probably because we got the crosswind coming over from the right, and it was the way it was steered to line back up. But that's all right. I enjoyed that. Oh, great stuff. So, guys, it just leaves me after this flight to say once again, thank you to all of you for joining me on this flight. I'm going to leave you with one last replay as per usual to see us out, but great stuff. The big thank you to all of you for helping the channel grow so quickly. As I say, we're at over 9,000 subscribers in here on YouTube. First flight broadcasting to Facebook as well, so thank you very much for those of you that have tuned in on Facebook and given us a bit of a like and share on there. That's really kind of you. And of course, as always, a big thank you to those that have donated, subscribed during the stream, and of course our beloved channel members. Always look forward to chatting with you more on Discord afterwards, etc. I shall be back tomorrow for another live stream, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you don't miss that. I look forward to seeing you in for the next flight, still in our Easter colours tomorrow, so looking forward to that. I'm going to leave you with one last flight, and Christian, are you demanding a thunderstorm? I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to leave the crosswind landing for this one, but we'll see where we can fly tomorrow. Maybe we'll have a live thunderstorm tomorrow. It depends. We might just search for bad weather. Thanks very much, guys. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm going to leave you with playing out of one last replay of the landing. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye bye.
1,500. One thousand. $500, $400, $300, $200, $100, $50, $40, $30, $20, $10, $5.